Okay, hi guys, and welcome to Norwegian Modeling Bench and this tips and tricks for bending photo etch stairs. So I remember the first time I encountered this watching this flat photo etch on the fret and thinking, how am I going to do this? And I know there are several YouTube videos out there about this, and this will be just another one. But I want to give my points on this. First and foremost, I like to paint these before I bend them. If you're going to have different colors on the steps or the sides or the handrail, then it's a good time to do that before bending. Also, I do, of course, install them on bigger projects and then paint everything up, but that is, it's a bit more difficult to get the good coverage. So that is point number one. Point number two is then how to bend these. And you can either use a bending plier or, of course, a bending tool. The first thing that is important is that when you are bending the sides, of course, you need to figure out which way. And in the top part of the stair here, you will see a little notch going out, which will rest on the top. So that, of course, needs to be bent back. So what I'm doing is then placing the bending tool and not entirely so covering the tags, but more or less like this. Then you don't get a too tight fit when you're bending the steps. Then I just use my finger, bend it upwards, so I get a more or less 90-degree, like that, and then the same with the other side. Of course, you can adjust a bit afterwards if the sides are not completely 90%, but that is fine. And for these small ones, it's not a big issue. And then the other side like that. So then the fun begins. And this is where I think at least a good tweezer, not too big, but a small one like this, is very handy. So of course the first one isn't the big issue. That is just like so, just grabbing it, holding it, and then moving the stair. And this is where the small tweezer comes into play, because the next one you need to go under and grab a bit of the step and then bend it upwards. So having a good tweezer is definitely an important part of the job. And then trying to align each step with the previous one. Of course, assuming that the previous one is a good, has the correct angle. So then it's just to work your way down, and just remember you really only have one or two attempts of bending the stair. It's just a small part of photo etch that you are bending, so bending it a couple of times will definitely, then it will pop off. So then it's just the last one left, and that is just as the first one, just grab it from the top or the bottom in this case, and there you go. And then of course you can, you should look from above, see if the steps align. If they do, then you're good. Otherwise, you can do small adjustments. And as you see here, I need to bend the railing a bit further in. So that was number 1, while using a bending plier. And of course you have the bending tool, and for larger or longer stairs, I would definitely recommend using a bending tool. And it's the same way, just, okay, let me use this one instead, it's a bit longer. Just placing it in the bender tool, find the correct position, not too far in, like so. Then be careful, if you have painted at least, when you go in, so you don't scratch off your paint. Of course, sometimes it will chip off, and in those cases it's of course only to do some touch-ups. But otherwise there is no issue painting this the stairs before you do this. Just letting have a good primer, then paint and let the paint cure for 24 hours. Otherwise you will most certainly get some chipping. You might do, of course, otherwise as well, but then the risk of that isn't too big. So that's it. So that's, and then of course it's the same operation with the tweezer bending the steps. So that's it. I hope that it gave you some insight.